Blue,
Hello, hello.
how are you, sir?
What's up, Kamish?
I'm doing well. I haven't heard from
Nice.
you. It's been 6 weeks. I haven't heard from you.
Uh, Everybody's hearing from me when they look at the record. You know, I keep it. You know, I keep it quiet. Not a lot of chit chat. I let my team do my talking for me.
Okay, I like it. I like a little professionalism. Is that right?
Yeah, listen. People like to get wild. People get crazy. They forget you still got to go out there and win the game.
So real quick, I brought you on. I want to bring you on the show real quick. I want to ask you a couple of questions. I want
Let's
to
do it.
know we have chosen you and Raider Nation again for the game of the week for week 6 coming up. I want to know what your strategy is to beat the 5-0 Raider Nation team.
Well, the first thing I do, right? I don't look at the record. Because if you look at the record, then you start getting yourself psyched out. You start thinking about this and that. The first thing I got to do is look at my team, right?
Hmm.
I got to see where on my team can I get better.
Hmm.
All right. So, every week I go through my team and I think I feel I feel good with my team. Uh, you
Okay.
know, the injury to your boy hurts a lot. That was
Okay.
a diamond in the rough.
Yes, sure
You
was. Sure.
know, he was looking good, man. He
He
was
sure.
looking good.
He sure.
So, but slow start with the quarterback,
Hmm.
right? Uh, Barkley injured. That doesn't help,
Okay.
you know. So, and I don't know if he's coming back this week. They're still up in the air. I'll be in Buffalo in person this week to scout my guy to see
Okay.
him. Yeah, but so uh, so like every other fantasy season, the running backs are thin.
Hmm.
The waiver wire is tight. So that's why you always go back to the draft. You got to draft well. You can't rely on a waiver wire pick or a trade. You got to draft.
Okay.
So, so I think my team is good. I like my wide receivers are solid. The tight end is solid. The everything is just, you got to hope your running backs hold up for the whole season.
All right. So
And that's
so
it. That's why I'm.
okay. So it's safe to say that you feel confident going into the game of the week against Raider Nation with a possible W coming your way. Is that what you're saying?
Raider Nation is 5-0. So you got to give them respect. They got good players. But you hope every week that you can go in and go, okay, can this guy stack up with this guy? Yeah, can this guy stack up with this guy? Where is this other team have a huge advantage? And I think that we're both evenly matched.
All
Like I
right.
said, I hope my running backs with the injuries don't get the best of me, but that's fantasy. You got to roll with the punches, kid. You can't just sit back and go, oh, my running back's hurt. Oh well, you got to move and make your moves and I think I stack up this week.
All right. Well,
Yeah, I
listen,
hope,
listen. I sense the confidence in you. I really do.
always confident.
You've been a strong owner for many many years. You and I have done battle for the last 22 years.
Yeah.
Is that
Oh,
safe to
yeah.
say?
Oof. Always battles with you. It's never, the battle starts when the commissioner goes, it's the first round of the draft. You and me are locked in. Yeah. And it goes all the way right up until the end.
Yes,
Just look
sure
at,
it does.
just look at this last week.
Yes.
So, but
I
yeah,
need that.
man.
I need the victory. I needed that. I do apologize for giving me that ass whooping, but you know
Nah,
what?
oh, well,
You deserved it. You deserved it.
Who is that? My man Moore, DJ Moore comes out Thursday night. It's tough when you get down 50 points on Thursday night. Well, it's one thing if you lose a close one. You go, okay, well, here, when you wake up Friday morning and you're down 52 points, You're like, okay, I see what you just shrug your shoulders and go, okay, I guess I'm moving on to I better get that ready for next week.
All right, listen, I just wanted to take your time out of your busy schedule and your busy day, and I wanted to get your take on Raider Nation up and coming week.
It's a good game. Good luck to Raider Nation, but hopefully this week I could pull it out.
All right, good luck with you. It's a battle of it's a battle of our division. I'm trying to catch you. You're trying to catch Raider Nation. We're both trying
Yeah.
to catch Raider Nation. All
Yeah.
right. So, hey, good luck this week, and we'll
Thank
definitely
you.
talk. I'll talk to you during the course of the week, and hopefully week 6 podcast. You're gonna enjoy it.
Thank you. Yeah, I've been enjoying the podcast. Everybody should be listening to it.
I appreciate the
Everybody should
shout
be
out.
listening. Everybody should be, what the highlights. I love it, and I love the music. I love the music.
That's
Yes,
picked by my production crew.
yes,
I got a own little separate production crew. They
yes.
do
The
their
crew's
thing.
on point. The crew's
Yep.
on point.
They always ask me, what do you want me to do? I say go a little old school. I'm old
Mm-hmm.
school.
Mm-hmm.
So that's great, man. Listen, you have a great night. You have a great weekend, and good luck on you this week on the upcoming games.
Thank you, Eddie. Be good, bro.
All right, brother. You too.
All right.
Bye.
Later.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the downtown studios of Cranford, New Jersey. You're here at the Commissioner's Cove. Alongside of me is the co-commissioner, 13th Legion. I am the commissioner, Ricky Let Me Down. Good evening, sir. How are you today?
Hey, good evening, Commissioner. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. How's everything going?
Yeah, I'm good. I was in their basement, and I still am. But I'm not lonely. It was so dark I didn't see. But in the other corner was AJ.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, he's going to join us one day.
But I'm out to do the show, so
I'm glad you're
looking
back.
forward to it.
Welcome back, sir.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to begin the program. We've got a good one for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. This episode, another sponsor.
Another sponsor.
Yes, it is.
Who
is it?
You ready for this?
I'm ready for it.
I had to find it. It was unbelievable. He came out of nowhere. But it's AJ Septic Tank Systems. Are you having problems with your tank? Go to the best in the business, and they'll take care of all your tanking needs. So I just thought, that's a good sponsor for us.
It sure is a good
And you
spot.
want to know what, Commish?
What's that?
We need guys like that.
We sure do. You know why?
Why is that?
Because you want to fuck around and find out.
All
All right. Let's get into it.
All right, let's go.
All right. We're going to do the recap of the week. All right. We're going to get right into the program. We have a lot to talk about today, sir.
Yes.
So, game number 1 featured Leathernecks and Family Curse. This one was Family Curse came away with the victory on this one. It was a close one. As a matter of fact, it was our nail biter of the week, 128-121.
Yes,
Family
very
Curse.
close, very close. And then I believe you found an interesting tidbit in there.
I sure did. As a matter of fact, this was the worst benching by Leathernecks, I believe.
Yes.
And the reason why,
Why don't you tell?
he started. He started.
Well, he started Nick Folk as his kicker.
Right.
He had another kicker on the bench. Probably the best kicker in the game, Justin Tucker.
He sure was, and all he had to do was just start. Justin Tucker would have given him 18 points. It would have propelled him to the victory, and he would have been 3-3.
Sure enough, it would have been a 1-point win.
Well, what are you gonna do? Maybe you got to do a little bit more research on that one.
Hey, listen, we do this every day.
Every day.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
All right, who do you have?
Son of L against Show Me Your TDs.
This was we just talked about Mr. AJ Septic Tanks. AJ, that we're gonna talk about that more later on in the program. AJ took the L on this one, 101 to 113.
He had a couple of good showings from a couple of his guys, but just not enough to overcome Son of L. The reigning champ put together a good game. Nearly all of his guys in double digits.
Yep, he did well. Mr. Alvin Kamara, is doing well as well. I mean, the guy's phenomenal as we speak today.
I know. And I know that, the game was last night. There was a Thursday night game, and I think Alvin Kamara had 12 receptions.
Oh, good.
Another 12. I think he has 25 for the year or maybe 30. No, I'm sorry, 35 for the year. That rivals some wide receiver twos out there. It's crazy.
Well, I mean, if you like that sort of type of stuff, you know what I mean?
Right.
All right, let's move on. There's nothing to talk about there. Game number 3 featured.
Yeah, I know. This is what propelled me to stay in the basement.
13th Legion, I picked you last week. Unfortunately, you didn't come through. You lost this game 112-129 to El Nino.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
This game featured you had some good, Amon-Ra St. Brown, we talked about last week. He did well for you. However, Mr. DeMarcado did nothing for you. Your number one pick in last week's waiver wire.
Just proof to show you that the number one waiver wire pick does not guarantee results. That's
No, it doesn't.
Sure.
It doesn't.
They did not say that he was going to split time and be the third running back, the day that I picked him.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it was very disappointing. Mahomes, again, with a sub-stud performance. Amon-Ra with the stud performance. And my prediction almost came through. I was really close. Zay Flower, I predicted last week 21 points. He did give me 17. So
yeah, but you know what? I'm a little nervous with Puka Nacua, only 6 points.
It's got to be an outlier. It's the only game like that. I believe you and I did speak about this, and we kind of reviewed, like we always do.
Yeah.
And you did say that, they were up, and they just needed to run the ball.
What are you gonna do? It happens. It happens.
But let's not overlook the fact El Nino had a good game. Sam Howell pickup proved decisive again, and of course Cooper Kupp is Cooper Kupp. And then his Bills defense with 18.
Yeah, but Mr. McCaffrey, got a little injury.
So we still don't know if he's not going to play on Monday, but could be something there.
All right, we'll see. All right, let's move on to the next game we have on the docket. It's Butt Fumble and Devil Dog. Oh, this game right here. Just to let you guys know, Devil Dog. We've been speaking about him for the last 6 weeks. Is 6-0.
Yeah, well,
whatever.
You don't need to bring that up.
All right, he won 174.
I mean, this is probably the best game he's going to have all year.
Please, let's not talk about him. 174 to 120, and this was the biggest blowout of the week right now. All right, I'm not even going to go through all his double-digit points. Nobody cares. I feel bad for Butt Fumble. We're going to talk about him later on the show because Butt Fumble wheeling and dealing. Butt Fumble makes some moves. He's not afraid to pull the trigger.
Yeah, this was the week for moves.
It sure was. All right. Next game, real quick. That's me. Ricky let me down and Just My Luck. This was a big game for me because Just My Luck beat me a couple of weeks ago with who? Mr.
Dowdell.
Rico Dowdell. However, I got my revenge in this game, 127-103. Giving me, I'm back up, 500, 3-3, and he's 2-4. I'm tied for, I believe, third place with Mr. Family Curse.
Family Curse.
All right, and Crystal Blue is 4-2.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He is 4-2.
Raider Nation 5-1. Very tight division.
Speaking about Crystal Blue, we had an interview. Did we?
Yes, you had an interview with him, and it was basically about game planning. How do you go into a game where the opponent that you're facing is undefeated and it looks like a powerhouse team and you stand no chance? And that interview that you had was very insightful, and I think that's a very good way to approach it. He, basically said you just don't look at the records at that point.
Right.
You're just putting the best team out there that you can, and that's what he did.
Crystal Blue is a silent owner. He doesn't show a lot of emotion. He's very quiet. You guys heard his voice. He's very smooth talking, and he believes in he's like the Wizard of Oz. He hides behind a curtain. You know what I mean? And we don't know where he's coming from until he's here.
Well, a Crystal Blue, one of our original founding fathers of this league. He's the original owner. And I will say this, and I don't think people realize it, but he's very consistent with his teams.
Yeah.
And I believe he might be the Buffalo Bills of our league.
How many times he been?
I think he's twice. He would know better than anyone. I got to take a look in the archives, but it's either 2 or 3 times he's been in the championship game. Unfortunately, he hasn't come through with one, but he's consistently always at the top.
Yeah, he's a good owner. He's a very good owner. All right, like I said, Ricky let me down, won this game, 127-103, 3-3, Just My Luck 2-4. And the game of the week we just spoke about, Crystal Blue, we give him his accolades, give him his props because he deserves it. He took down Raider Nation. Raider Nation came in 5-0. This was the game of the week, 5-0, and he took him down 5-1. Now, let's talk about Raider Nation because we've been talking about him for 5 weeks now. Raider Nation is hurting now. He's got a lot of injuries to his team, I mean, there is only one owner with no injuries to his team. And that's Mr.
Listen, no.
We talk about it.
I don't want that name spoken on this show. All right, he's in the bathroom. All right.
You got to give him his props. You have to.
But how many times are we going to give him his props? Let's just put it at that.
No.
No.
He deserves it. Give credit where credit is due.
We have.
Well, we got to give it to him.
Okay, game of the week turned out to be the lowest scoring game of the week.
Yeah, it sure was.
All right, so, just goes to show you, 150-something or 160 or whatever Raider Nation put on you a few weeks ago, that just all but disappeared.
All right, well, you know what? Raider Nation needs help. He needs help, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on.
Another injury. Now, he not only lost Jefferson, but he lost Montgomery.
Yep.
Yeah,
yep.
And Ridley is doing his best Houdini act. He disappeared.
Yep.
And same with James Cook. So
Yeah. All right. Well,
it reminds me of that line, from the Warriors. Hey, Warriors, come out and play. Where are his team? His team didn't show up.
yeah. Well, nobody cares. All right. We talked about the worst bet cheeks. We talked about the biggest blowout. All right. We talked about the nail biter of the week. We have here a couple of new segments to the show. You called me. You called the office a couple of days ago and
Spoke to the secretary.
Yes, you did.
Who, by the way, answered the phone on the first ring, which is good.
Well,
Good.
I spoke to her about that,
I know,
and
I
she's
know.
been pretty good. I'm thinking about giving her a raise. Christmas is coming along, but that's
Too
besides
early.
the point.
Too early.
But
Let's see.
that being said, you had a couple of new segments, and we agreed upon it.
Yeah. Yes, we did, and we're going to start with one of them that it was a joint effort. We sat around, we spoke about it. So, you want to say what it is?
Yeah, it's you got.
You got.
All right, let's get into it. We got the top three owners who got, and we're gonna go over them real quick. Starting at number three, Mr. Tyreek Hill with 29 points, and show me your TDs. Guess what? You got. Number two, Adam Thielen with 29 points. All right, against Buff Fumble. Guess what? Buff Fumble. You got. And coming in number one is Raheem Mostert with 35 points. And guess what? Just my luck. You got. That's my top three. All right.
Yeah, we don't want to,
Rub everyone else.
Yeah,
It's top three.
It's top three.
Top three. They got.
Believe me, they know that they got.
All right. Let's go to the next segment. What do you have?
All right. Well, the next segment is going to be a little old. Went back into the archives.
All right.
Back in the day when I was a wee little lad, in the streets of Brick City, we were playing street football, and you were E-Town probably doing the same thing. But when you play street football and it's fourth down, there was a phrase: "Are you kicking or are you sticking?"
I remember that.
Okay.
These young cats don't understand that.
No, but we're going to bring it back to them.
All right, kicking or sticking. Let's bring it on.
So let me just preface this by saying I'm going to give you a bunch of names. You're going to tell me whether you're kicking or you're sticking with them. And when I mean kicking, I don't necessarily mean off your team and cut them. It could be just benched. All right?
I'm ready.
All right.
Let's hear
make
it.
this quick. All right?
All right.
Brock Purdy.
I'm sticking.
Kirk Cousins.
I'm kicking.
You're going to put him on the bench.
I'm
I
gonna
believe someone dropped him in our league.
I'm going to put him on the bench.
Puka Nakua.
I'm sticking.
Yeah. Okay. Darren Waller.
I'm kicking as far as I can throw him.
So to the point of cutting him off the team?
He might be on the pay no mind list.
All right. How about Jahmyr Gibbs, who's been out with a hammy, but he's supposedly going to carry the load this week?
I'm sticking.
Sticking. Brian Robinson.
I'm kicking.
You're kicking. Off the team or to the bench?
To the bench.
Yeah. Jerry Jeudy.
I'm kicking.
For
Ever
now.
since Steve Smith called him out, guess what? I'm calling him out right now. Come see me, Jerry.
How much of it do you think is intentional by the coach? Do you think it has anything to do with that?
They're professionals. They get paid a lot of money.
All right. Next guy. Devonta Smith. Kicking or sticking?
Well, with the addition of Julio Jones,
Julio. Yes.
that speaks volumes, but I'm still sticking.
Okay. Fair enough. Zach Moss.
Sticking.
Najee Harris.
I'm kicking him through the field goals.
There is a rumor he might get traded.
That's what I hear.
Debo Samuel.
I'm sticking.
Sticking.
But the injury scares me. I'm sticking.
Okay. A.J. Dillon.
I'm kicking him through the uprights.
Him too. All right. T. Higgins.
I'm sticking,
Sticking with T. All right.
even though he has rib injuries.
Well, he's on a bye week, so he's going to miraculously heal.
We'll see. I can't.
Ramadre Stevenson.
I'm sticking with an occasional kick.
DJ Moore.
I'm sticking. But with a third string quarterback, it's wait and see.
So you could right now say for this week you're kicking. You're going to keep him on the bench to see.
I'm kicking this week.
Okay. All right. All right. And the last guy on the list is Jerome Ford for the week. Kicking or sticking?
I'm sticking. I want to see what he's got.
Okay. Well, those are the players this week for kicking or sticking.
All right.
All right.
All right. I like it.
Yeah, well,
I appreciate it.
I try to come up with some thought-provoking names. Maybe next week there'll be some other ones.
Pretty good. I'm
but
sure
we'll see.
other owners have different opinions, but that's okay.
Well, let's just say this: it's kind of hard to kick at this point in the year, especially with what do they call it, Bimageddon.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to kick on any running back. But we're just talking about in general overall. So,
but I tell you what, it's come that time of year where it's almost halfway through the point, almost
yeah, this will be halfway
right.
to the fantasy season.
It's coming halfway through the point of the year, and people are going to have to make decisions. But we're going to get to that in a little while.
Yes.
All right. Any more segments for?
Well, I do want to say this. We went over the recap of the week, and so of course, I sit around drinking coffee, eating donuts all day. I have nothing else better to do. So I just want to say, if people think it's been a bad week, for a lot of parts, it was, all right. But I will say this, if you go to the website, it tells us what our average is for the week. Every team has an average of points scored. This week, it was 119, all right? So it made me thinking, are we really scoring lower than, say, for example, last year? So I went back in the archives, did a little bit of math. Down and dirty, you know what we averaged last week to this point per team?
No, but I'm sure you'll tell me.
Yes, I am going to tell you. 119. So it's the same number of points that each team averages from last year to this year. It was a bad week in the sense that there were 5 quarterbacks over 20 points. Only 5 over 20 points.
Well, the quarterbacks haven't been scoring much this year.
Well, and that's the reason why the perception is that it's a lower scoring year.
Yeah.
But of the two, well, first of all, of the 5 quarterbacks that scored over 20, 2 of them are owned by the same owner, and that's the name I refuse to say today.
You can say it.
No, and the other guy, 26 points with the Dak Prescott, he was on the bench, and he was on waivers, so no one picked him up. There were only 3 running backs that scored over 20 points.
I think I had 2 of them.
Yes, you did. You had Mostert, ATN, and there was another guy called Knights of Kyron Wren Williams. Knights of Kyron Wren Williams. So, But then we have 9 wide receivers. So now wide receivers this year have been probably the saving grace for the year. There were 9 wide receivers scored over 20 points. So that's a good sign. All right. So there's some depth there. But here's the most interesting thing I found this week, that there were 12 tight ends in double digits. Double digits, obviously 10 points or more.
Right.
So that's not a lot. But there were also 11 kickers with double digits. So I combined all their points. The tight ends came up with 150 and the kickers 151. So the kickers actually outscored the tight ends this week. So to let people out there, it's a very shallow tight end pool, but you might make up your points with the kickers.
With the kicker.
So choose wisely.
All right, that's a good point. That's a good little nugget right there. I like that. It's good.
Yeah, see?
I don't see you bringing any donuts to this show at all. But
No.
that's for another story. All right. We're moving right along into the program here. Cole, you know what? We went over a lot of stuff real quick, not to water down the segments, all right, and keep the program moving. We're going to go into...
Yes, we don't want to bore people.
We're going to go into the pick'ems between you and I. All right.
Okay, let's
for
go.
next week's pick'ems, real quick. I did a little research myself. I mean, it's not as extensive as yours, but I did a little research myself last week. For week number 6, you went 4-2 with the pick'ems. All right, and I went 3-3.
Yes, and we did have a conversation with the champ, and he suggested that we exclude our teams picking for the games that we're involved in.
He did,
and I know that your response was that
but we're owners.
We're owners,
right?
So we're part of the group,
right?
And at the same time, if I am correct, I chose you last week to get the win.
Yeah, and you got that win.
And I got that win.
Yeah.
So I mean, we do sometimes vote against ourselves.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think you tried to do that last week, but I won't let you do it.
No. I think I should win every week.
So it brings us to the totals for the year so far. I am 10-8, and you're 9-9 so far. Only one game behind.
It's still a long way to go. You got half a year to go.
You're still on my tail. All right. So we're gonna do the matchups of the week real quick. I apologize. The matchup of the week coming up for week number 7. That's gonna be, you and I picked it. There are really 2 of them here. Sunnyvale versus El Niños. I have no problem picking 2. You have a problem picking 2? Let's do 2.
Okay.
2 matchups.
All right.
Because these two games, obviously, they have real big implications in each division. You got number 1 is Sunnyvale versus El Niño as number 1, and El Niño's coming at 3-3. I apologize. El Nino's coming in 4-2. Son of Bell's coming in 3-3. And the other one's gonna be Family Curse versus myself. Ricky let me down. We're both 500, 3-3. All right, going into week number 7. And based on the standings, Family Curse and I are fighting for the number 3 spot, and we're trying to catch Crystal Blue and as well as Raider Nation. All right, so that's why we picked those 2 games. We're not talking about Devil Dog because he's facing a foe that's not even worthy of. You can't bring
Where it's any given Sunday.
I understand that, but you know what? You just got to look at the matchups. It's just not a pretty sight, but that's okay. All right.
Well, you know what? That is the first game on the list. So before we get to the 2 games of the week, let's just analyze Leathernecks against Devil Dog.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, all right.
Let's go to Son of El and El Nino, one of the games of the week. Now, I know that, we did have players playing last night, and Alvin Kamara, like I said, 12 catches, 91 yards. He took a commanding lead over El Nino, 29 points. He also had Evan Ingram for 9, so that's part of the 38. So, but the rest of his team is a little, besides Tyreek and Lamar, he might have some problems
Yeah,
there.
but El Nino, Son of El, for some reason, he has a little bit of pixie dust when he sprinkles on these guys. Odell Beckham Jr. has done anything, so all of a sudden he'll catch six receptions, 119 and a touchdown, and all of a sudden he'll come out of nowhere and win this game. But that's what champs do. They find a way to win.
Yes,
they find a way.
He's going up another fairy this week, El Nino, who's sprinkling his fairy dust all over the place because he's got Sam Howell.
That's true.
All right, and you know what? Terry McLaurin kind of blew up for him last week, of course, all over me. And Cole Kmet, he's got some question marks here, but they can blow up at any time also.
Yeah.
And Latavius Murray, he'll probably get 2 touchdowns because I guess Buffalo forgot who James Cook is.
We could talk about that. Don't forget Latavius Murray. Damian Harris is put on IR today, and they just elevated, I believe, the running back. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Ty Chandler, I believe his name is, to fill in Damian Harris's role. But I don't think he's going to get any burn. All right, don't quote me on that name. All right, let's talk about. We're not going to talk about my game. Ricky versus Family Curse.
And why not?
Well, it's just.
Why not? Are we going to jinx you?
No. It's
All
just.
right. Well, you have a lead, a 31-19 lead thus far. It's going to be close.
It's going to be a close game.
Yeah, it's going to be depending on what Brock Purdy shows up this week.
Well, let's hope. He's got a good team.
But we're going to get back to your team and composition in a little bit. So
all right.
Let's go to my game, 13th against Butt Fumble.
All right, we still have to do the pick'ems. We haven't done pick'ems yet.
That's what we're doing.
Oh, so who do you have? Son of El versus El Nino. Who do you have?
All right, well, let's go to the first one. Leathernecks and Devil Dog.
We both got Devil Dog.
Yeah, Devil Dog.
All right, Devil Dog.
Son of El and El Nino. I am going to go out on the limb, and I'm picking the young guy, and I think El Nino's going to pull it out of nowhere.
I'm going Son of El.
Okay.
13 Legion and Buff Fumble.
I'm going with me.
I got to go with Buff Fumble. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
All right.
There's a team composition there that's different also.
All
right. The Family Curse and Ricky Let Me Down. I'm going to go with you.
Okay. We all know who I'm going for. Show me your TDs versus Crystal Blue. Who do you got?
That's another game right now. I know that there's an early lead by Show Me Your TDs, 8 points. It's going to be hard. I think Crystal Blue's going to pull this one out.
I think Crystal Blue wins that one as well.
Yeah.
All right, and coming in at the rear, Raider Nation for Just My Luck.
Raider Nation, I'm sure, is very disappointed in Calvin Ridley. He can't be, too unhappy about Jacksonville giving him 14 points, but I still think he is the overall team that's going to pull this one out. I think I'm picking Raider Nation over Just My Luck.
So am I, Raider Nation. All right, we did the pick'ems of the week for next week's matchups. Let's go to league news. All right, this is let's go to league news. League news is we had a couple of trades in the league. All right, I believe 2 owners stepped up and decided to pull the trigger. We talked about a halfway point, and they weren't afraid. They actually got on the phone a week in advance because they had feelings that other owners were thinking about making some trades. They analyzed other teams, what the team needs for the other guys, because that's what good owners do. They look at your team, they look at his team, they look at the schedule, look at the strength of schedule, and they decide to make a move. So AJ Septic Tanks decided, and we've been talking about for about 2 or 3 weeks, he did lose his game. He became 1-5, and he decided, guess what? For sale sign, he started selling. Yeah. So I came in and I swooped in and I decided to trade a number 1 pick as well as Mark Andrews to AJ's team, which is Show Me Your TDs, and I got back Travis Kelce and Michael Pittman. And the league was on fire.
Yes.
A couple of owners were on fire.
Yes, they were.
You know what? And I
upset.
got one thing to say. I don't give a shit.
And neither should you.
I should not.
This is your team. You
know why? Because you fuck around and you find out.
Okay. Who got that for you, by the way?
This is a little shout out to an owner from another league. The other owner, his name Bijan Robinson. It's pretty good. Yes.
Yeah, very nice.
Very
nice. Thank you.
I apologize. His name is Bijan Mustard. That's his
Bijan
team
Mustard.
names. And I appreciate the shirt. Thank you for looking out. He went down to Miami, saw the game, bought me the shirt. And guess what? I wear it with pride today. And I'm going to give you a little shout out. Thank you very much.
It's a little hard on the eyes, though.
It's a beautiful
Very,
it's a
very
beautiful
hard
color.
on the eyes. I like the French blue myself.
All right. That was mine. That was my trade. And
know
guys
that
were
was your
upset
trade.
about that.
Yes.
What's your take?
Well, you want to know something? Let's just real quick go over. There was another trade.
There was another trade. The other trade.
Where was the outrage over that trade?
Well, it was because I don't know.
So to give a kind of overview of everything, there was a group chat that went on during the trade, during the trade announcement, and the question that was posed by myself actually is, what are you most upset about? That AJ Septic Tanks was tanking, being 1-5, or that your team was getting Travis Kelce? Which was the more outrage? Which caused the most outrage?
I can't answer.
And no answer was given.
It's okay. I can't answer it because haters are gonna hate. It is what it is. But the problem is that people like that are afraid to pull the trigger when their team is hurting. So if you're afraid to pull a trigger, you cannot take it out on owners who are not afraid to pull the trigger.
Well, then, we never left it where it was impossible. But we left it. We when we created the league and put the bylaws in effect, we didn't want to hamstring owners. Now, during the course of the 11 years of this league, we had to put in some stopgaps because it was getting a little crazy. And we also had a lack of trading, so we put in possible solutions. Like the trade deadline at the last game of the year. We wanted people to feel like they could stay in this league till the very last week and still make a run at the playoffs. And it was never more exemplified than last year with Sonneville. All right, he's finished the league season 7-7, and he won the championship.
Yeah.
All right, I was 11-3, and obviously no one remembers that. Except unfortunately myself, but 11-3, and I still lost to someone who was 7-7 because he made the right deals towards the end of the year and gelled his team. So if you make the trade the last game of the year, the last week of the year, or the 7th week of the year, it's a matter of this is your team. You want to do the best you can to make your team better, and you have a right to make trades.
Right. Let's talk about the next trade.
Let's do it.
All right, you had Butt Fomo made a deal. I can't remember the whole deal in general. I believe he traded a couple of guys a first-round pick, and in return, he got that Mark Andrews and Show Me Your TDs flipped Mark Andrews, got himself another first-round pick for next year's draft, and he gave up Mike Evans and Andrews, and it helped out. There it is right there. Mark Andrews, Mike Evans, and Alexander Madison. He gave up Michael Thomas, Justice Hill, Pat Fryermuth, and a first-round pick, and he released Jaden Reed. Good for him. Good for him. People weren't upset about that trade.
No, there was no outrage.
There was no
outrage. There wasn't even a boo on the chat. Nothing.
But listen, I only got one thing to say. If you're scared by a dog,
woof.
All right.
Again, we want to say we pride ourselves on we're all veterans of fantasy football wars, right? And I understand the idea of fairness and how. Listen, again, we can't be dictators here. We get accused of that all the time, especially you. But we certainly don't. We're not that. We're absolutely not that. Our league bylaws show that we're not. We make changes almost every single year for the benefit of the integrity of the league.
That's right.
And for the fairness of the league. So I don't think that there was anything wrong with that. So, we'll see what ultimately happens. Again, you can make a trade today. The guy tomorrow can get hurt.
Nope.
What? No one's going to say boo about that trade then?
No. I'm sure there's a lot of brujeria coming my way right now.
You better burn a lot of sage, my friend.
Guess what? I don't care. I don't care because you know what? I made a move and it is what it is. Hopefully it benefited me and benefited my team. And because you know what? I've been in this league 11 years. We founded this league 11 years ago, and I've never won it, and I'm going for it this year. I'm sorry, I'm going for it.
Yeah.
All right.
You know what? You should.
I'm Deion. I'm Deion Sanders. I'm coming. I'm coming.
Okay.
All right.
I think that's it.
I'm glad we got that off our chests. Telling the league owners, telling everyone in the fantasy world what we're about, how we're feeling, how other owners are feeling. I appreciate Crystal Blue coming on, giving us his take on
was very insightful. I thought it was great.
Right, it was fantastic. You know, it shows him and I have been playing fantasy football together for almost 22 years together, battling in the field of battle for many years.
Yeah.
In his other league, I appreciate him. I thank you for coming out tonight. All right, I thank you for everything. I thank you for the new segments.
Yes,
keep them coming.
We're gonna have some fun with those.
Yes, we are. We're gonna incorporate pick'ems. All right. Every week we're gonna do pick'ems, startums, and sit'ems. All right. We're gonna give the league owners some insights about that as well.
Yeah, well,
sounds great.
Stay tuned for the next show where we do the stardom sit-ems, and we're gonna introduce something there too. Thought-provoking little segment.
Absolutely.
And in the meantime, just to before we close out, I just want to say again, you have comments, you have suggestions, you want changes, or you want to see something change, throw it out there,
or leave a comment below.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, if we've spoken, and what this did do to us is that it prompted us to even think about further. I don't want to say restrictions, but further stopgap measures to make it not so appear so unfair.
Right. So we're always evolving. That's the more of the story. We are open to always evolve. All right, to keep our league up to par and standards very high. All right.
Yep.
Listen. That being said, thank you, sir.
Yep.
I appreciate you coming out.
Yep. Take